Hello guys, so today we'll be discussing on user experience research. Now research does come under the key aspects of user experience. So we start with strategy, that is the content definition, then to research, which is the topic of our discussion for today. After that we come to analysis, and then we have design, and finally we have production and evaluation. Now, what is basically user experience research? So research is basically to remove the quantitative and the qualitative data based on the user behavior, their needs, their motivations, their pain points, and provide that data to the production team. Now it basically deals with removing all assumptions and providing impactful data. That's the key point here. So a great analogy would be basically a construction company looking for a shopping complex. So they want to build a shopping complex and they're looking for a specific city, and in that city they have 5 locations. What they're looking for is to get some research done on those 5 locations to see which one fits the best, and they would proceed with their construction. Now what they would do is they would get the consumer behavior around those locations, the market research around those locations, then they would see if there are any other competitive markets, and then finally they would get all this data, and on the basis of the data they would start making a choice as to what kind of location they have finalized in, and they would start the construction. Under user experience research, there are a number of methods which are used for this process. So it comes under user interviews, questionnaires, your surveys, a card sorting method. So these are some methods which are basically used for user experience research. But before all this process, we need to identify some key points so that we can start this research, because if we don't follow these specific points, then our research just won't matter. Well, the first point is having principles without evidence. Now, if your company is following any specific set of principles and they are not backing up with any kind of evidence, well, that would go just in waste. The thing is, you should have a specific rationale on the basis of whatever comment or feedback you're giving on a specific design. So let's say if you are building a material design or a flat UI design or schemorphism, you should have that specific data to back up what you're trying to say. Second thing is keeping your biases aside. Now, there are many chances that there are designers who are working on a specific domain and they are very much comfortable with that kind of style of structure, and they're very much comfortable with the types of clients, so they keep working in that similar fashion. The thing is, there are many chances that anytime a new domain or a new client comes in and the designer or the researcher is completely lost. So you should keep your biases aside, have an open mind to anything whatever comes up, and see what are the potentials if you try to pitch in this way versus the older way. So yeah, keeping your biases aside. So the third point is avoid vagueness. Now, whenever you're trying to see any research part, you should be very much clear as to what you're trying to ask or tell. If you're not sure what you want to ask your users in when the user interview session is going on, you are creating a bad impression in front of the user as well as your stakeholders. So you should have a clear idea as to what you're asking as well as why you're asking it. The fourth point is never ask people what they like. If you have, and I guess you might have faced the situation in any company wherever you're working on a specific UX design or UI design, you tend to ask a lot of people option A is good or option B is good. Now the problem is they might say either option A or option B based on some preference at that moment. They do not know the rationale behind it, and they don't know why they are saying what they're saying. So the problem is, don't ask people blindly as to what they like. You should, if you are even asking, you should at least be sure that they have some good form or they have some good sense of UX design, so that they would also understand that where you are coming from. So that would be a helpful pointer. And finally, for a fifth point, pride down. So what do we mean by pride down? Keep your pride down, approach your stakeholders, approach your users with an open heart, ask questions, ask thorough, clear questions, and keep your empathy level very high. You should know what your users are trying to say. If they are open to something, if they are not open to something, you should try to understand why they come from, where they come from. Again, you are also trying to balance your user needs along with the stakeholders' motivations. So you need to balance that line. So you need to understand your points of your stakeholders, the business owners. So you need to basically have that empathy level at that fine line so you can hit the proper spots. So yes, these are the final things for user experience research. If you have any questions, you can hit me up on the link below. Even there's another Medium link which would show you the complete content of this description based on being research ready. That's it guys, we would meet you for the next video.